Greetings, everybody. We have returned once again for our regular shenaniganal brouhaha rambunctious good times. How badly could I mangle those words?
That's period.
Oh God. We might explain that in part 2.
Yeah, it's a good chance of it.
Nah. That's just for us.
So yeah, tonight we will be getting into a review of the QSP Pelican. There's not a G in there, it's a C. Definitely felt like I said a Pelican, not a Pelican the first time.
Yeah.
Pelican.
Yep.
Pelican.
It was halfway between a Pelican and Gilligan. I'm not sure.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll be reviewing that, and then for the rest of the night, we are going to be having some holiday good time rambling fun, because we have no agenda.
It's
a little bit.
Nice.
A little bit.
This is my eggnog. Because eggnog's disgusting.
I bought eggnog for tonight, and then I drank it all.
Unlikely story.
It's true. It's true. It was delicious, but
I managed to save a carton for just to discuss Paul with later. So
I've got like one more after this, and then the eggnog's done.
Nice.
Fair enough. Mr. Fisk is already making fun of me in chat.
We're not there yet. First, everyone has to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit those buttons, click the share, do all that stuff to help us out and grow the channel and stuff, or else you will be cursed to relive all of 2020's horrible events in a week.
Oh.
Like and subscribe.
Like in a manic hallucinogenic haze?
Yes.
God. Wow. That's much worse.
I was gonna curse people with like just toenails in their soup forever.
That can be next week.
Or like occasional lice or something. Like
occasional lice.
No, it's a 2020 Groundhog Day edition.
That's a weird
exactly.
That's all I'm saying.
Can I not do a pre-order for that particular special edition? I don't want it.
And
well,
I was
unless
kind of
you like and subscribe, you're getting it.
I was trying to figure out how we were going to have that 2-month quarantine or that 3-month quarantine from the first time around, all in the course of 1 week. And ayahuasca is the answer. Mr. Fisk nailed it on the head. Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, that's. And now I never want to do ayahuasca, so you ruined it for me. Because this moment will replay in my head. And then all the other ones.
And on that note, I was carrying my shot show valet today.
That's a sequel.
Jealous about that knife.
Oh, the fluting on it.
Oh,
sunburst patterns need to happen more often. They're just gorgeous.
I'm angry about it.
Angry that you don't have one.
Yes, it's such a good looking knife.
Aside from other shot shows that I have that you're angry about.
That one's nicer.
Fair enough.
Hot take.
Yeah.
Not a shot show, but limited edition. I'm carrying the carbon fiber Pardue. Acquired some time ago off of Joe, and his mistake is my gain. You know.
I do miss that knife. I do miss it.
You should, because that's a really nice knife.
It is. Still unable to kick it out of my front pocket. 707. Still wonderful. Still haven't managed to break the tip yet, so that's nice.
You're not trying hard enough.
Into a Warncliffe.
Well, when you have 9 knives on you, you don't need that as your prying knife.
No, I've got an 80-15 for that. That's.
You've got a leather neck on your hip.
I was going to say the leather neck too. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seriously pried with that thing.
You're doing that wrong.
Yeah.
Sorry?
So you're doing that
wrong.
Yeah. I've used my Leatherman, though, for prying. That's always fun. Until it isn't.
Indeed. this week I'm rocking the Rook, Rake, whatever you want to call it. The Rook Hussar in titanium with S35. It might become relevant in tonight's review, maybe.
That's called
Who knows?
foreshadowing.
Bum bum bum.
That's called a
No,
dramatic snap.
I don't know who's directing this show, but we need to do
No
a
one.
take. We need to do a take 2 for sure.
You need to-
Take one's not going to cut it. That's for sure.
So-
Greetings, everybody. We are here.
I was gonna say, so do we kill the stream or just keep going, or what do you want?
Oh no, there's no saving this train wreck. Let's do it.
No.
All right,
Let's just drive into it.
all right. Who's up first?
Whoa. That is driving that train wreck right over the cliff. That's for sure.
Yeah.
We gotta ask the boys what they're carrying.
Oh,
as Mr. Fisk was making fun of me about it.
I was gonna say, Fisk did. What are you carrying? That's always the voice in my head for that type of writing.
Oh, totally. With the like me.
So Eric Glesser was asking that question. Is that what you were saying?
Yep.
I mean,
Completely.
We're so mean to that
he's
man.
the nuppiest person I know. That's all I'm saying.
It's not that we're mean, Joe. It's that we're trying to get him to open up to show his true inner self.
Okay.
We're just reminding him of what's deep inside so he can know that he shouldn't be afraid to let
We're
shine.
calling him a Muppet. What's deep inside?
Don't think too hard about it.
What lies beneath the
Too
felt?
late.
All right then. All right. So over the cliff, you say?
Whoever goes first can do the preamble. Talk a bit about the knife.
I was going to say that Mr. Fisk is carrying his 908 BK 1501. And then as soon as he got home, he pulled out his 8020 and his Macany Mac 2. I don't know why I'm trying to talk like a robot, but
Hey, it's a Zoom
Does
call.
not compute.
It's a Christmas robot.
Why did
and
this sound so sad?
who, Dennis or me?
Yes, but
Yeah.
especially Dennis.
Wow, it's not a joyful Christmas robot. Come on.
No.
It's not like a miracle or anything. It's just a robot. Jeez.
Thanks, guys.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Didn't think tonight I was going to hear "You're not a miracle," but here we are.
And finger guns.
Period.
Cheers, bro.
Yeah. I'll steal that home run from you.
As long as you don't whip the bat at me, I guess that's okay.
You don't have the option of that.
No.
Or the choice in that.
I missed
The
something.
review, you say.
Apparently.
So just
A review.
Plot twist that the robot was God's son.
That makes the manger scene way more evil.
a little
Some
bit.
assembly
So-
required.
I gotta say, it's way too Christmas time spirity for that sort of weirdness. Review, you say.
We'll get weird in the second episode,
Yes.
like usual.
So, a pelican, not a pelican, not.
So, who wants to go first on this bad boy?
I think Joe should go first on that terrible pun.
Gibbard.
All right. So, it's the
You have
pelican.
no one to blame but yourself.
Yeah, I suppose. I'm not going to go right into my ratings. I'm going to tell you about this knife. It's using micarta handles. It's got a ceramic, I believe it's got a ceramic detent, but I know it has ceramic washers, ceramic ball bearings seated in washers. It's an S35 VN blade. It's a little chunky, comes down to a fairly fine edge, and it's right side tip up carry only.
Correct side. Tip up on.
And
No.
you can get it in 2 variations. You can get it in a 2-tone satin, which is the version that we got to play with, and you can also get it in a tumbled stonewash, which is kind of fancy. Yeah.
Kinda. I kind of like satin finishes over Stonewash, given the choice, but I know everybody has preferences. Stonewash isn't going to show wear as much.
I'm a knife to knife type of guy, but looking at both of them, I do like the satin blade on this variation more than the stonewash.
And small side note, and I guess this goes into, I could bring this up for aesthetics, but I like the little QSP triangular pivot. It's kind of cool, like decorative little splash there.
It feels kind of Illuminati, and I don't know why.
A little bit. Well, you know why? It's a little all-seeing eye in the pyramid, right? That's a big thing.
I'm gonna have to get a little all-seeing eye into the center of something with that pivot.
Right. So, being a little bit more specific, I gave this guy a 75, which is a pretty solid B-.
Yep.
3/8 for cost materials, cost fit and finish with little asterisks. I'll talk about that there in a sec, and then cutting ability. It's micarta. It's full micarta. There's ceramic components for the opening. There's pretty good contouring to the knife overall. I actually have one here to talk about as well. Get a nice little close up there, the texture on the micarta. It's kind of cool. The high point for me on the objective side comes from ergonomic execution. This knife is very comfortable in a number of different grips. Whether I'm putting my thumb on the side here, kind of cutting sideways, if I really bear down on it like this to get a lot of control over the heel of the blade. Even in reverse grip, which is stupid, but it actually feels good in almost every single grip I can put this thing into. And there's plenty of room for my fingers without feeling like the knife is super oversized. The clip is nicely contoured. There's some chamfering on the side there. I'll bring down my light here.
Cool scar.
Yeah.
I was just noticing the cool purple disco lights that he's got going on.
Oh yeah, my cube.
Shining off the washers. It's good stuff.
Washers.
Or the liners.
Or the liners.
Liners.
Yeah. We all know.
You know, the washers.
You know, I gotta turn my keyboard onto rainbow mode, but that's okay. The contouring, it seems like a small touch, but it actually adds a lot. When this thing's in hand, it doesn't really bite. There's not really a hot spot coming from the clip. Lockup and actuation, I gave it a 7. The QC for the detent seems a little suspect. So across the 3 different models that I've handled, this one has probably the best detent. Not too overbearing, but nice and crispy. You can get a good pop. The first one I handled was kind of mushy, and I don't really like a mushy detent. I don't like it being too easy to pop it.
That's such a gross way to describe a detent.
That's how it felt.
Mushy detent.
That's how I feel when I'm opening. I'm like, that's okay. Like it kind of killed my my interest initially in the action because it was so soft. On the personal side, I guess I'll say the asterisk with the liner lock face was the note I left for myself, so I wouldn't forget. I have a little suspicion here that the liner lock face, so the piece of steel that actually comes into contact with the tang, it might be very roughly cut. Everything else is fairly well polished on the outside, but I suspect that on some models the inside is a little rough, or maybe there's a burr. The reason I think that is because lockstick develops on these super quick, and it sticks around, and it's hard to get rid of. Dropping in a very minimal amount of mineral oil has actually helped on the models that did develop. This one hasn't developed any lockstick, and I've been flicking it while I was getting ready for tonight's video. Haven't really had any issue with lockstick developing. So it's just a note. I could consider that a 7, but with the lubrication and with this particular model without, seems to be good. I was a little bit more harsh on this personally. The material choice, I like S35. I like ceramic ball bearings. I like micarta. There's a lot that's going on here that's pretty good. I believe it's a titanium pocket clip as well. I think I forgot to mention that.
It is.
So that gets an 8. There's nothing really here that I dislike. And for the price, it's reasonable to expect these types of materials. Aesthetics, it just doesn't quite do it for me. I like the wide Warncliffe blade, but there's just something... It's hard for me to articulate exactly why this isn't grabbing me, but it isn't. That being said, it doesn't look hideous. It's not something that I'm looking at and going, oh, that's weird. It looks decent enough. Pocket Ergos, it got a 7. It's a little thick. Maybe I'm being spoiled by stuff like this. I'm being spoiled by stuff like this, but it's a little bit thick in the pocket. Other than that, it's easy enough to brush my hand past it. Although I have had a little bit of, and this is weird, I don't usually have this issue, but I've had a little bit of hooking issues with the tip of this flipper. Very minor, but it happened once or twice, so I thought I'd mention it.
When it comes to big in the pocket there, Joe, you have an 804 and a 630, 620, I don't know, something.
Oh, dude. Not even that, but lately I've been throwing that into a pocket.
Yeah. So,
but, and here's the thing, this is just as thick as the 8015. So keep that in mind. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm not expecting it with the QSP for some reason. Maybe I have that built-in expectation for cold steel. And again, I'm not really knocking it for pocket ergos. It's just not quite ideal. Also, it's not a deep carry, but it does carry pretty high. Yeah, so you got a little bit showing. The low point for me was enthusiasm. This knife wasn't it was something I was mildly interested in, and then when I got it in hand, that squishy, mushy detent just kind of it killed my interest a little bit. And then when there was issues with mushy with that grabby liner lock, even after the issue was resolved afterwards, this wasn't really a knife that I could see myself buying. So yeah, the enthusiasm is a 6. I don't think it's anything I'm not going to tell people to stay away from this knife. I think it's well made. I think it's going to perform nicely, but I can't get excited about it for some reason, and I'm not entirely sure if it's just because I like longer, pointier things, or because if I would prefer something with a hollow grind for that type of blade profile. It's hard to say.
It's probably the drugs.
Yeah, probably.
Good chance of it.
Yeah.
You think the beer would help the score go up, but
yeah, but the score was already sent in before the beer started, so
that's what you think. No. Sorry, Paul.
Touche, sir. Touche.
So, I'll go next.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before you do, though, Mr. Fisk was just asking why a titanium pocket clip is a plus. And in my mind is because there's more design and intention as well as work for the machining and fit and finish for especially a milled titanium pocket clip.
Yeah. It's also a little touch of premium on a knife too. Like it's
extra detail.
Yeah.
If it's machined properly and has enough
Yes.
spring, but I've played with milled clips that suck too, right? Like it's
Yeah.
So
I think
it's a double-edged sword on that one. That yes, there is the like higher end, the precision to it, and the craftsmanship of adding that extra piece that you can appreciate. But at the end of the day, if you've got a good spring tension on it and whatever type of thing, I prefer a stainless steel clip with good tension than a titanium with crappy tension.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think for me, what it comes down to is stainless steel is just going to be a better clip material 9 times out of 10 because you're going to have those higher tensions that you want, and the steel's going to hold that position a lot better than titanium will. So from a practicality standpoint, I think steel's a better choice. But if you're going for like a more artistic flair, they could have also anodized this. Or, well, you could also set this out to be anodized. So for modders and customizing, it's a little touch of something else.
You can heat anode at home too fairly easily.
Yeah,
Like
a little butane lighter, and you can get that going.
Yeah.
Next score, Dennis.
I was there. All right. So I also scored it a 75, but got there very different ways. So I figured while we were jumping on that train, we might as well. Joe said that it came in at a good solid B-, but it's scraped in as a C-. If it's 74, it's still a C+, by the way.
Yeah.
So I dabbled on one thing somewhere in there. Cost versus materials. It's tricky to get nail it down a price point because QSP doesn't actually have a suggested retail on their website at least. So it's just going to dealers and finding out what they're pricing. But especially the ceramic ball bearing aspect of it, the extra cost with the titanium clip, whether you think it's a good thing or a bad thing, right? So, and fit and finish, yeah, overall, couldn't see frayed on the micarta, couldn't see anything as far as rounding goes. They did a pretty good job. Ergos, Joe dabbled on it, a whole bunch of hand sizes that this thing is going to fit quite nicely. To tell you the truth, when it first came out, I actually thought it was going to be just basically a flipper version of a penguin. And when I popped it open and realized the size comparison and the size difference, I was pleasantly surprised. I was like, oh yeah, that's a completely different design. It's not just a flippered version of something I already have or a fancy or whatever, right? So, and then lock up and actuation. Joe dabbled on the lock stick. I think we can all agree on that it was a repetitive thing. I played with 2 or 3 of them, and they had major lock stick.
Yeah.
But I also think that can be broken in over time and seriously playing with stuff, whether it's been my Techno, whether it's been several other knives that I own, type of Super Freak even had some serious lock stick when I first got it, but you play with them long enough and they will break in. And I'm sure that one will too, if you're just dedicated to making it work, right? So right hand clips get 3. Sorry, it doesn't matter. That's just the way I work. So I've given a lot of nice knives the score of 3, but yeah, along with this one. Ergos, I think this is one of the few times where my personal agrees with the objective side of thing. I was like, I really do think that everyone will enjoy this hand size, and it's not just me personally, right? So, and then I guess finally enthusiasm. It was actually quite low when this knife came out because I had that mentality of this is a flippered penguin that's just fancier. And I don't need a fancier penguin, blah, blah, blah. And then when it came out, I was like, okay, yeah, different design, different knife, different dimensions, different kind of objective to have this knife, what it's intended for, that type of thing. So it actually bumped it up from probably a 4 to a 6, maybe even a 7, but then the lock stick was like, all right, dial it back a little bit. So it got, 6 for that. So yeah, that's my score.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's fair.
I think I'll jump in next here and follow on the bandwagon of grading it a 75.
Screw you, hippie.
Weird.
That's funny.
Right?
How did you get there?
So yeah, gave 3/8 across the objective side for cost versus materials, cutting ability, and ergonomic execution. All of them do quite a good job of it. For the objective, where it shone out for me was the fit and finish for cost. That thing is clean. All the edges are nicely rounded and finished. I didn't find any hot spots, stuff like that. Low side for the objective was the lockup and actuation. As you guys have touched on already, the lock stick on that guy can be pretty severe on some of them that we have played with. Opposite to Joe, as far as the detent action goes, I actually prefer a little bit of a softer detent, so I was enjoying the model that he was calling mushy. The one that I was playing with that he actually really enjoyed had a fair bit of, like, he kind of had to preload the pressure before it popped, and after playing with it a while, it was getting my finger sore. So yeah, just for the inconsistency of the lockup, or not the lockup, the actuation. That's why I gave it the 7. Personal side of things, 3/8 once again. Material choice, micarta and S35, nice decent options, good middle of the round, getting up to the premium, getting fancy, but still nice workhorse, abusable. Low side was pocket ergonomics, because right hand pocket clip only, screw you for that. It would be nice if at least the titanium clip was straight. It's a nice pattern to it and like nice machining to it, but if it was straight, you could at least mod it yourself to make it left-handed. But because it's got that curve to it, it's going to look awkward as hell if you stick it on the left side. And Enthusiasm was kind of a middle ground for a 6. Didn't really give it much time of thought because, like Dennis touched on, I also thought it was going to be similar size to the Penguin. But getting it in hand, it's actually really, really comfy for these giant mitts.
Yeah, makes sense.
Huzzah, score.
Yeah.
Huzzah.
Apparently,
Mr. Fisk is asking if he missed the unveiling of the score wall. And unless he's from the future, no. Because it's going up in the new year.
Yeah. We had decided amongst ourselves and kind of talked about it and figured that just for the time frame and not trying to rush it, we were gonna do our due diligence and get it all together and get it out for the new year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there, take that.
Yeah. You must wait.
Now, on to the fourth 75 score.
Mr. Fisk's comment in chat, I bet Nigel can draw one hell of a hand turkey.
you're not.
Okay, so I
Oh.
didn't give it a 7.5. I gave it an 82.
Ooh.
Dear Lord.
Um,
All right, boys, let's pick this bastard
No,
apart.
But if we look at the objective side, it's all 8s and then 7 for lockup and actuation, which is right in line with what
Hang
everybody
on.
else is doing.
Slow your roll.
So might you say that it was all 8s across the board?
I
Except
hate you.
Except for the 7.
I hate you so much.
And you'll see there's an asterisk.
Joe, can
that
you
says-
mute Paul and Nigel? Like, there's a setting where you can spacebar to mute yourself. So go ahead, gentlemen. Go ahead.
mission accomplished.
My spacebar is over here and it's not attached.
You need to change the setting first. We'll work on that. Anyway.
I'll figure it out. But yeah, you guys touched on it across the board when it came to the objective side of things. It's really nicely built. It's right in line. I almost grabbed the wrong knife. Right in the line with some other offerings from other people that are different in materials but similar in overall quality. And right in that exact same price point. And I think the trade-off of a milled clip and ceramic ball bearings and really nice micarta can be a trade-off for titanium. On the personal side of things, that's where things kind of jumped up. Mainly, it came down to there's a bit of titanium on it, which I dig because it gives me the opportunity to change the color of it. Micarta is always going to get a high score from me because, where is it? I lost it. There it is. I don't have enough of it in my collection.
Yep.
And some of the stuff that I do have, while being micarta, is like so finely finished that it doesn't feel like micarta. And that knife feels very nice. I gave it a 9 for aesthetics because there's 6, 7, like 8 knives over to my left here. They're all Warncliffs.
Do we have to take a drink when Paul mentions his collection, like all around him over here?
Doesn't
There's
happen
some over
often
there.
enough.
Like
Doesn't-
like, like these ones right here. I mean,
Doesn't
No,
happen
but
often
that one
enough.
deserves a drink.
But you guys should know by now, I like a Warncliffe blade, and this one's a good-looking blade. And it's not the exact same overall shape, but they both have this kind of like, it's narrower towards the point and it kind of eggs out towards the back end. There's a model that Rook makes that also has that similar kind of shape. And I dig it, apparently, because I like all 3 of those knives.
And as we learned last week, Paul likes his eggy shapes.
Except my eggy shapes.
Paul and those eggs.
Pocket ergos, I gave it an 8, specifically because of the titanium clip. And I wanted to get to this point from as long as Mr. Fisk had made the comment about titanium in chat. I have some milled titanium clips, and most of them do suck. They are hard tension. You really have to kind of like pull them out of the way when you put the knife in your pocket. I just really like the way they look and accept it. But this knife slid in and out of my pocket on that clip like a spring clip, like no milled titanium clip I've ever used before. They got the thickness of the like stock in the actual like spring of the clip. Perfect. And it was really, really nice getting it in and out of pocket, which is why it got an 8 there.
I will give that for like titanium milled clips, yeah, potentially, but Zinks mentioned like wire clips, and nothing's going to go back in your pocket as smooth as a wire clip is probably going to.
True.
I will say, though, this one was pretty smooth to get in your pocket as well, though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like,
my experience.
Right-hand pocket,
Can I
but
have
yeah,
a titanium wire? Can I have a titanium wire clip?
I got some steel wire clip stuff around here, and honestly, I don't know. I think the Pelican. I think the Pelican actually does a better job in just from thinking about how this was to get in and out of pocket. And I realize this isn't the correct clip, but back when it was the correct clip.
That poor clip.
Maybe not necessarily out of pocket. I'm thinking more specifically back in the pocket.
That's what I mean.
That's what I was saying was getting it back in was like it was pretty smooth to put it in. Yeah.
It goes in like a spring clip.
It's that ramp.
Mm-hmm.
That ramp is very well done. Not everyone can do a ramp like that. Not everyone.
Use your forehead again, Joe. That had good contrast.
It sure did.
No. It was also showing how thin the clip was as well, which was...
That too. Oh, I had an example of a terrible titanium milled clip. Yeah, here's one. Here, I'll use my forehead again. Yeah. See how square that is?
Oh, yeah, that one was horrible.
That is not conducive to a good clipping experience. It's okay when it's there, but this, here's my forehead again. That is a good ramp angle. That is what you should be aiming for.
That's terrible.
Imagine there's some sort of, I don't know, term of clipping that...
You're thinking of something else.
That's good clipping right there. Like it's
Don't like that.
You'll learn.
I guess the last thing is just my enthusiasm, which was also a 9. Apparently, I like this thing a lot. I actually almost went home with it on Saturday and kind of talked myself off the ledge. I don't need a new knife in my life right now.
But it's doing so many things right for you that it's safe to say this is an eventual purchase for you.
It's a potential purchase for sure.
It's just rare to see that many 8s and 9s in the personal side where you don't end up owning the knife.
It will not surprise me in the least if I end up owning it. The main thing that is the sticking point is I own a lot of knives in S35, and I don't really need another one. I'm starting to feel like Dennis does about S30 with S35.
Just too much of it. Yeah.
I just want other things.
That is fair.
Yeah.
It's not a bad steal. We're just picky bastards.
I have no knives with S35.
You're doing it wrong, man.
Dennis,
S35
what the hell?
I'll list the name of the knives I have with S90 though. Does that help?
No.
No.
No, not even. Why would that help? No.
Can I count one that I haven't received yet?
I skipped that step. I skipped that step in the food chain.
Do you seriously not even have a single one? Not even
I don't believe so.
Not even like a.
Believe so, sir.
Not even a fixed blade or anything.
He's waiting till he gets a Sabenza.
No. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get a Sabenza 31.
I mean, you're not really missing out with all the S90 you've got swimming
Unless
around.
I can find an old Sabenza with BG42, I would take one of those.
I mean, you're paying for it though, right? Anyway, overall, fairly positive review, all things considered.
Yeah, it's like a 72, but with a couple extra points.
Let's get another picture.
7
here.
to be exact.
Or 75, like the rest of us scored it. I don't know why you were using 72 as a reference, but
Me neither, to be honest with you.
I was gonna say.
The best part is I said 72 and then did the math off 75. Figure that one out.
nice.
No.
Nice.
I don't want to figure that out.
So it's like stealing someone's home run and then still striking. Like,
I just want to run on the field just one time.
I know there's been I'm sure there's been comedy movies where a guy dives in to take a bullet for his partner or whatever and just completely whiffs it and the other guy ends up getting shot anyway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like my memoir.
Oh, that's sad.
So on the note of taking a bullet, I do believe it's about break time.
Yeah, we're about there.
Indeed.
It was a good enough segue. I had to jump on it.
it's a little early. It's a little early, but you know,
Yeah.
it's not the end of the world. Yeah.
A couple minutes, but yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, good segue. I jumped.
Well, here, are there any questions from the chat here about the knife in particular? Because we've handled it a lot over the last couple days. Oh, and while there's questions being generated, maybe not, I should highlight the packaging because it's really cool. It's
Have a good night, Darren.
Oh, you
Yeah, buddy.
Have a good night.
Thanks for joining us there, Darren.
So
Also, I should mention what's going on, Zinx and Darren. They both said hello in chat while we were doing our review. Sorry, guys. Also, we've got a new fella in chat, and I'm not going to try and say his last name because, I don't know how to speak. But what's going on, Matt?
Nice for you to join us, Matt.
Indeed.
Did QSP ever give the name of the designer? I don't believe so. Generally speaking, these new models are going to have some sort of symbol, and that area seems to be bare on that side of the knife. For instance,
as you were trying to start talking about Joe, the packaging.
Oh yeah, the packaging.
It was a question in his defense. It was a question.
Hold on, I'm focusing. That is a question from the audience. I was gonna say, Tucson. I forget the name of the designer, but you can find him on Instagram. Who designed this particular one?
There was nothing in the audience about a Tucson.
Nigel. Regardless, there would normally be a maker's mark with these types of Chinese OEMs, so the fact that there isn't leads me to believe that no, they didn't say shit. And I don't think they said anything on the website either. But the packaging, like Nigel is so kind to remind me of. Curious, is QSP backwards to you guys in that image?
No.
No? Okay, cool. Because it's backwards for me here, so I may have to fix that
later. On the stream it is.
Right. Okay. I might go back and fix that at some point. So it's a pull-out drawer for the actual knife itself. On the inside, you get a plastic-wrapped carrying case, similar to what Spyderco would give, like with their little plush felt cases. Let's see what else.
But I will say the Spyderco cases are much, much nicer.
Oh, they're much more posh, for sure.
Yeah. It's still cool to get a little case, but you can tell that it's just kind of like a little bit of an afterthought add-in bonus.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of like, congratulations, you bought one of our knives sort of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can actually full screen this stuff. And yeah, that'll show up okay. Yeah, so it comes with a little card here that gives you a legend and what everything's called and where it is. Talks about their warranty on the back. So, kind of nice that they include that, along with a little QR code to visit their website.
I will bring up super quick while we're just having final notes. If you, on QSP's website, if you go to their models, I really love the fact that they've got a plus or minus symbol next to the weight of every knife.
But they don't tell you what the plus minus is.
No, it's plus or minus 127 grams, which is 4.5 ounces for the Pelican. Which is kind of a chunky knife, to tell you the truth, but it's a big knife as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I love the fact that they've got this weird plus or minus 127 grams. Like there might be some extra egginess on the back end, just for Paul. There might not be. There might be some 707 slender just for Joe, plus or minus, right? So
Yeah, that's a weird. Yeah, like plus or minus what exactly? That's not very well defined.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's an answer
variance?
somewhere on our website.
So
Or maybe there's not. The one thing I was going to say that Joe just pointed out there is on the pouch, it has a little carry strap, which is a convenient way to actually carry one of those things because they're not the most convenient thing to carry around.
Because so many people carry them around.
no,
Maybe they should.
Well, I can totally
What if they could carry it like a purse?
carabiner that onto the edge of my fanny pack, obviously.
Yeah.
And now you know.
through the carabiner. Why would you just loop it through the strap of your fanny pack in the first place?
Because how
Because
am
you
I
can
going
attach
to
other things to the carabiner.
how am I going to attach my water bottle at the same time? Like seriously.
Yeah, exactly. Multifunctional.
Anyway,
Don't,
microphone.
don't do that.
We can thank Paul for this random stream about carrying things in the pouch with a giant.
Anyway,
Yes, that was my fault. Sorry,
you did
guys.
this to yourself, Paul.
As I sat there in silence.
pretty much.
You brought up the carrying strap.
You're a carry strap.
Why, thank you.
Warranty step 1, throw knife in trash. I think it's a little bit better than that.
Mhm.
I don't know.
I would imagine it's a little bit better than that.
I wonder if you can find out what their heat treatment is on it. Because they don't actually say on their They don't say on their website.
Not without a Rockwell test of some kind.
I don't think. Yeah.
Now there was a website, knives and tools, knifeandtools.com, something like that. They're one of the few websites I've noticed that seem to have a lot of Rockwell values listed for given products, and they seem to be fairly accurate. So it's interesting to know, because sometimes those values aren't listed on a manufacturer's website, like directly. So might have to check in on that. But I mean, it's not like S35 is an unknown quantity. Pretty easy steel to heat treat, all things considered.
Mr. Fisk is calling us out in chat pretty well. If only there was a card that told you the warranty.
If only.
Yeah.
They should really think about adding one of those to the box in the future.
Maybe
And
we'll put a
Joe
little
showed
QR
it off, so you can pause the screen later in the future if you like to read the information about it.
Tune in again on Tuesday because we're not going
Yep.
back. It's too late. The
Yeah.
warranty card's back in the box. We've gone too far, obviously.
Yep.
It's the box. The box is way over there. I'm over here, and it's 8:00. It's time for us to go on break. I mean, that ship has sailed.
Yep. Indeed, it has.
Indeed.
So break time.
We should probably sail that ship then.
Yeah.
Indeed. Hoist the sails. Raise the jib.
Yar.
Do all that stuff.
Tie myself to the
yourself-
mast.
Pour yourself some more noggy goodness, you know.
Oh, I gotta go get Nog.
Damn straight.
Y'all are
Everyone,
gross.
everyone needs to get nogged a little bit. That's
So before this gets too much weirder, it's break time. We shall return shortly with everyone. So head on off to empty out your bladder and refill your drinks, and we shall return shortly with everyone. See you soon.